I wasn't even gonna make a video today. As you guys know, it's the international break. Kind of use the international break to, take some time off. And, football is not life, right? As much as we love this sport, there are more, sometimes, other things come into play. And, school's been, but we've been focusing on that a little bit. But I had to make a video on this. And the international break's actually been kind of eventful. Spurs sacking Igor Tudor, unfortunately losing his father. Roberto De Zerbi getting hired for a relegation battle. A manager who's shown himself multiple times to kind of throw his toys out of the prime whenever things get difficult. Rafinha getting injured in probably Barcelona's most important part of the season. There's a lot that's happened. But I already talked about briefly on Twitter what I thought about the Roberto De Zerbi hiring. The Roberto De Zerbi hiring as well as the Igor Tudor sacking. So follow my Twitter down in the description. I've actually never mentioned this to you guys on the videos before. If you like the short form content, if you wanted to hear, live reactions from myself regarding games that I'm watching in live time, Twitter, TikTok, Instagram, all down in the description down below. If you guys never knew, it's always been there. So follow that. If you're new to the channel, we're trying to hit 100,000 subscribers by 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year, and I can't do it without your help. So if you like the videos, subscribe, like, comment. But today's video, we have to talk about Italy, man. Italian football. Look, I'm gonna caveat this entire discussion with the fact that for a long time I've never rated Italian football, but I've been very, let me use the word, conservative with my words, because I feel as though with how wide football is, you have the Premier League, you have La Liga, you have international football, you have the Champions League, you have World Cup, you have the Asian leagues, you have the South American leagues, the Copa Libertadores, you have the CAF. Football is such a wide sport. It spans throughout the world, and it's very difficult for somebody to specialize in every single region, every single league, every single competition. It's almost near impossible, right? So I feel like whenever I come out and I say stuff like that, like Italian football is dead, or I don't enjoy watching Italian football, or Italian football doesn't do anything for me, I think it can come off as ignorant. But I think today, as Italy have failed to qualify for their third straight World Cup, I think my thoughts have been completely vindicated. Now, I'm not going to come here and talk about the game, because for me, that's the least important thing in this entire crisis that this country is going through. I think it's the least important thing. The game for me was just an illustration of everything wrong with this team. Lack of star quality players, terrible managers at the helm, lack of real belief in themselves, and just losing to teams that they should not be losing to. Now, we'll give Bosnia, I will start this by saying give Bosnia all the credit in the world. Congratulations on making your first World Cups in 2014. I remember that World Cup like it was yesterday. I think they were in Argentina's group along with Nigeria, and I think it was Iran that were the fourth team. So congratulations to them. But for Italy to be getting knocked out by Bosnia, this is a disgrace. This is a disgrace. And as I said, I wasn't going to make a video, but I'm not even Italian, and I'm annoyed. I'm annoyed because you've seen what Italy have done in past years. Now, I wasn't old enough to see the Italy of the 1990s. I wasn't old enough to see the Italies of the 1980s. I saw glimpses of that great Italy team in the 2010-2014 World Cup. Glimpses. Of course, they didn't do well in either of those World Cups, but you still saw the Pirlos. You still saw the Tottis towards the end of his career. You still saw, the Chiellinis, the Bonuccis, the Buffons. You saw these players. These were world-class players. But now, goodness me, I need to say this. As I said, all credit to Bosnia. All credit to Bosnia. But for you to lose to Bosnia in a World Cup qualifier game, a do-or-die fixture, that is unforgivable. That is unforgivable. This gives me the same vibes I had when Nigeria were drawing with Lesotho, and I think it was Zimbabwe. Drawing with teams that you should not be losing or drawing to. When the World Cup, how is that not enough motivation for you to go out there and prove yourself? And it always felt like this was inevitable. Even when they beat Northern Ireland in the previous round, it felt like there was feeling as though they might not do it. Oh, it might be a difficult game. Why is Bosnia a difficult game? You look at these teams, right? In goal, they have Gianluigi Donnarumma, one of the best goalkeepers in world football. I have no problems. I have no qualms with that. The fact he still hasn't played in a World Cup in his career is mind-blowing to me. This guy is going to be 31 by the next World Cup. That's if they even qualify. You've got Mancini, who is a bang average center back. Bang average. This is a country that has been filled with world-class center backs, from Chiellini to Bonucci to Barzagli to Nesta to Maldini. How many center backs can we even mention with this country? Bastoni tonight, getting a red card, 1-0 up against Bosnia, believing that it was such a do-or-die situation that you would have to fly into that sort of tackle in 50 minutes against Bosnia. Calafiori, a good player, but he's not this outstanding footballer. DeMarco in big 2026. Like, Matteo Politano was in that Italy team that won the Euros in 2021. This guy is still playing for them in 2026. Matteo Politano, no offense, is an average footballer. He is an average footballer. This midfield three is the perfect illustration of what I think about Italian football. You got Sandro Tonali here, who plays in the Premier League. Great player. Nicolo Barella, who on paper sounds like a fantastic player and has been a great player for many years, especially under Inzaghi. But these last few seasons from Nicolo Barella, these last few months, should I say, last season he was great, but these last few months, Manuel Locatelli, let me not get his name wrong. Even he has fallen off the level from the player that we thought he could have been 4, 5, 6 years ago. He has fallen off the level massively. In a Juventus team that has fallen off the level massively. And then you look at this front two. A front two that used to boast the likes of Del Piero, the likes of Vieri. Was Vieri from Italy? I'm pretty sure he was from Italy. The likes of Totti. The likes Baggio. Proper players in the attacking areas. Players with dynamites. Players who used to inspire nations. No offense to them, but now you've got Matteo Retegui, who plays his play in, is it Qatar? In the Middle East? And Moise Kean, who we're still wondering, is this guy even going to reach the potential that he was coveted to have when he was at Juventus? He's still posting TikToks and he's still doing all these dance moves in big 2026. At what point do you look at your career and say, things need to change? And I'm not here to target any of these players. You look at the bench, Federico Gatti. I've heard so many Italian fans, especially in recent years, talk about Federico Gatti like he's the savior for Juventus' defense. Federico Gatti is a bang average player. Brian Cristante in 2026. Davide Fratesi. Now I know Davide Fratesi bombed it on us in the Champions League semi-final. He bombed it on us. But he's not that great of a player. And Leandro Spinazzola. This is a man who suffered an ACL injury in 2021 and is still being called up for the Italian national team in 2026. But even amidst all that, you can criticize the players. You can say the players are not good enough, which I don't think they're all that great. I think they're good players. I don't think they're world-class players. I don't think they're fantastic players. If I'm looking at this squad, I only see 3 or 4 genuinely proper good players, at least in this moment in time. And that's Donnarumma, Bastoni, Calafiori, and Tonali. But even with this, you should not be losing to Bosnia. I'm sorry. I am sorry. This should be a 3-0 easy victory. Get up out of there and qualify for the World Cup. Now you can call me elitist, you can call me ignorant, you can call me diminishing what Bosnia have done. I do not care. You should not be losing to Bosnia in a World Cup qualifier. You should not be losing to Macedonia in a World Cup qualifier. You should not be losing to Sweden in a World Cup qualifier. That was a Sweden that didn't have an Ibrahimovic. That was a Sweden that didn't have an Alexander Isak. That was a Sweden that didn't have Viktor Gyökeres that they have now. That was a Sweden that was being held by Kulusevski. I'm sorry. That is despicable. Despicable. You look at this Bosnia team. Again, no offense to these players. But who are some of these guys? Edin Dzeko is still playing for Bosnia in 2026. Edin Dzeko. I'm pretty sure Edin Dzeko is about 39 years old. I'm going to confirm right now. I'm like, how old is this man? How old is he? He is 40 years old. Edin Dzeko is 40 years old. playing in the second Bundesliga. I've literally just gone back to my homepage. I'm so sorry. Playing in the second Bundesliga. And now it's gone. Even my computer's lost it. Even my computer's fed up. This cannot be allowed to go on. This cannot be allowed to go on. And it spans even into the Italian league. But no. You guys, no. I'm not going to let this go. I'm going to go back. Where is it? The person I look at, once again, and this falls at the federation. This falls at the running at Italian football. Why is Gennaro Gattuso the manager of this team? I have to ask. Because Gennaro Gattuso falls in line of those managers that I look at in world football. And I continue to ask, how do these managers keep getting jobs? This guy is a rubbish manager. Rubbish. I'm not even gonna try and, sugarcoat it the way I sugarcoated the players and try to, give caveats. Gennaro Gattuso is a flat garbage manager. You come and look at some of the things he's done in his career. Of course, he had his startups, Pisa, and all these teams. And then he now got that stint at AC Milan. This was the longest he ever spent at a football club, following his Napoli stint. Both of these stints were unmitigated disasters. Unmitigated disasters. Then he went to Valencia. Of course, Valencia have their own problems in their own right. He was there for 22 games. The guy is one of the most volatile managers in world football, and you hired him to qualify for a World Cup? Then he goes to Marseille, and it's as though Marseille are just looking for the most crazy managers they can find. Gattuso, then they went and got De Zerbi. He was there for 24 games, and now he was at Hajduk Split. Italian national team is hiring the manager from Hajduk Split in Croatia. This is a country that has the likes of Antonio Conte. Of course, these managers are not at the peak of their powers anymore. Claudio Ranieri, they're not at that level anymore. And many other managers that don't come to mind right now. And Gennaro Gattuso was the person they thought could lead them. Even Thiago Motta, I know he didn't do well at Juventus, but couldn't he have done something? Spalletti left the job. Mancini won you the Euros. Even in the qualifiers, they're losing to Norway home and away. Norway, of course, they have Erling Haaland, but they're not that great of a team. To lose 4-1 at home to Norway. And it really springs the question, where do Italy go from here? It seems like that's my favorite thing to say in all my videos. Where does X go from here? But really, where do these guys go from here? Guys, I'll tell you, I have never watched Italy play a knockout game in my life. Maybe that tells you sort of how old I am. I have never watched Italy play a knockout game in the World Cup in my life. This is a team that I've heard stories of. You hear many, many stories. This is a team that started the World Cup in the 1930s, won the World Cup after Uruguay started in the 1930s. They were the ones who were reigning, of course, under Mussolini, but they won it regardless. The most successful team in the whole tournament, only behind Brazil. What's gone on? What's gone wrong? Average players, terrible management, and I think you have to look at the top. And it doesn't help that you're failing to qualify for these tournaments, because what can the nation get behind? What can the nation be inspired by? The youngsters used to be inspired by Pirlo, by Gattuso. Of course, I just went on that raving, tangent about him saying he's not a good manager, but Gattuso was a top player. They had the people like Totti, like Del Piero, like Baggio to look at and be inspired. Who's there now? All due respect, is it Retegui that's going to inspire me? Is it Moise Kean that's playing for Fiorentina? They're at the bottom of, lingering around the bottom of Serie A. Who's their best player? Who is the player that you look at and you think, wow, this player is going to lead them to glory? Is it Donnarumma? I mean, Donnarumma was excellent in this game, and it makes sense because they're being peppered by Bosnia from minute 1 to minute 90. Come on. As I said, I'm not even Italian, and I'm mad. Because these are the sort of teams you want to see in the World Cup. These are the sort of teams that you want to see representing their country. Because Italy is so filled with so much history in the sport. And it's kind of just falling away as we know it. just falling away as we know it. It feels like a big day in football for me. You miss it once, fair enough. Netherlands did it. Pretty sure England did it. Argentina did it. Many big teams have failed to qualify for the World Cup. Germany have fallen out of the group stage in the last 2 tournaments. It happens. These things happen. To then not qualify back to back, then you're starting to see the alarm bells go. But you think, okay, they won the Euros. You can give them a bit of respite. But to fail 3 times in a row, 12 years, no World Cup to show, that is ridiculous in my opinion. That is ridiculous. I don't think any major nation would ever allow that to fly. Even Nigeria wouldn't allow that to fly. Even Nigeria wouldn't allow that to fly. And Nigeria and Italy cannot even be compared in international football. It's a shame. But as always, let me know what you guys have to say. Very passionate video from me. Really just speaking what I see, because this is ridiculous. I didn't even touch upon how this is, spanned into the Italian league, Serie A. For me, I look at Serie A and I look at the league and it's in a terrible place. Many teams don't own their own stadiums. The stadiums lack any real bite, real atmosphere. The seats are so far away from the field. The broadcasting rights are terrible. The money in the league is so minuscule in comparison to every other major league in Europe. You look at the Champions League this season, Atalanta, the only team to make it into the knockout stages. I'm not even going to include those playoffs or play-ins that, for me, the round of 16 is where the knockout stages begin. Atalanta, the only team, and they got brocked 10-2 by Bayern Munich. That's embarrassing. The best team in your country, or best team in your country, Inter Milan, losing to Bodo Glimt. We can give Bodo Glimt all the credit we want, but Bodo Glimt lost to Sporting 5-0. That's the team that beat the best team in your country. McTominay is one of the best players in your league. He's one of the faces of the league. We can give Scott McTominay all the praise you want to give him. Go ahead. His resurgence ever since he left Manchester United has been incredible. It's been awe-inspiring. But Scott McTominay is not a fantastic player. Kevin De Bruyne has gone to that league and has looked revived. Of course, he's had injuries, but he's looked revived. Romelu Lukaku looks like an actually competent striker in that league. Players who have their best years are way past them. Edin Dzeko was kicking about in that league at 34, 35, 36, 37. Henrik Mkhitaryan is still a key player in that league for a key team in the league. Bro, this is spooky, man. This is spooky for Italian football. Spooky for Italian football. But before I went on that tangent, as I was saying, if you guys are new to the channel, please subscribe, like the videos if you enjoy what you're seeing. Let me know all your thoughts on this crisis, in my opinion, for Italian football and Italy as a whole. And, hit all the socials down below, the Instagram, the TikTok, the Twitter. Run it up, run it up, run it up. Let's get involved. I want to hear all your guys' thoughts on all of this. I think this is a very, very big moment in modern day football. I think this is where the tides start to shift. And this is a moment where Italy can either decide to change it all and re-immerse themselves as the major force that we know that they are, or fall into obscurity. Let's see what they do. Road to 1,000 subscribers by the end of the year. Can't do it without your help. Like, comment, subscribe. Take care of yourselves.